I'm Rock Kabatko, MASNsports.com, School of Rock. No, please, sit. Remain seated. It is time for another forum. This one with the kids who are going to be asking the questions, showing us adults how to do it. But first, let's welcome back the manager of the Baltimore Orioles and a kid at heart, Mr. Buck Showalter. Yeah, we need another mic. Or you just have to scream out your... We could do that. All right, we have the kids lining up. And here comes our first. What's your name?
Emily.
Emily, where are you from?
I'm from Columbia.
Knew that. How old are you, Emily?
10.
10. Do you have a question for Buck Showalter? You can come over.
I won't bite, maybe.
What's your question?
Do you have any free time?
Do you have any free time?
I'm going to answer it like a mature adult. No, I not really. We don't have much time in the off season. You know, our day during the season, you go to bed about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. You get up about 8 or 9. You're at the park by 11. You leave about midnight, and then the off season comes, and you know you've got a little more time to do some things. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's messed up my life. I enjoy it. I have fun trying to help us be good. I get a lot of help from a lot of people, and but free time. Every free time I get, I spend with my family, but that's about the extent of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. You can go right there. And who's next? Yeah. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
How old are you, Elizabeth?
11.
11. Come on over. What's your question for Buck Showalter?
My mom and I want to know this. Can you come to my birthday party?
Where's your mother? So you're going to be 12, right? Yeah. And you're from where?
Columbia.
Columbia. What day is that? What's your birthday?
My birthday's in March.
It's in March. You don't have anything to do in March.
We're in spring training. We're in spring training, but maybe. Sorry.
All right, who's next?
Got out of that one. I would have liked to have gone.
You're going to like this T-shirt.
Yeah?
Hey, what's your name?
Landon.
How old are you?
4.
4. Come on over.
Hi, Brandon. How are you today?
Landon. Is it Landon? Landon. What's your question for Buck Showalter?
What's your favorite player?
For the Orioles? Who's your favorite player, Landon?
Chris Davis.
Chris Davis. Well, it's probably be smart for the manager to like the player with the longest contract the most, right? So, buddy, you and I are together, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for the question. Bye-bye.
Up this way. You can go up this way.
See you, Landon.
Hey, what's your name?
Tori.
How old are you?
10.
10? Come on over. What's your question for Buck?
Tori?
What are you gonna do when you win the World Series this year?
Well, if you know the city of Baltimore, you try to figure out a way to do it again the next year. All right? That's the way it is. That's the way we want to be. We don't want to be satisfied with just making the playoffs. It's time for us to be the last team standing. I like your hair. Okay. Good question. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Come on up.
This is going to be a good one here, Rock.
What's your name?
Mason,
Mason, how old are you?
7.
Good. What's your question for Buck?
Which Oriole player is the funniest person in the clubhouse?
Let's see, the funniest guy. There's a difference between funny and the one that makes me laugh. I don't. Are they listening to any of this? The players? Adam Jones is pretty funny, okay? But I'm gonna tell you who's got a real quiet, sincere sense of humor is John Scope. And he says some things, when he starts getting on Manny, I tell you, some of the things he says to Manny, I don't think his mother could say to him. It's tough. But people think that Manny kind of leads Jonathan around. I'm not so sure. It's a little bit of both. But they're two good young players. But Jonathan's very quietly pretty funny guy. Okay? Good question.
Thank you. Come on up. Hey, what's your name?
Emily,
Emily, or second Emily. How old are you?
7.
And what's your question for Buck?
How long have you had your dogs?
You know, it's been a great, educator for my kids and my family in general and me about, the passing of life and whatever. I've lost 3 of them in the last year and a half, but I just gave my wife 2 new puppies for Christmas. So we're back to 3, and we've got 2 miniature donkeys that she got last year. They're in the pasture named, let's see, the girl is Daisy and the boy is Teddy. Teddy and Daisy are our 2 miniature donkeys. And we've got 4 dogs right now. So, you have a dog?
No, I have 2 cats.
2 cats. What are their names?
Fitz and Bailey and their brother and sister.
Good deal. They sleep with you? Do they sleep with you?
My cat Fitz does.
Thank you.
Thank you. What's your name?
Anna,
Anna, how old are you?
9.
9. What's your question for Buck?
Anna?
Who are you rooting for in the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl? The Ravens aren't in. I don't really care. Let's see. Is it New England and Atlanta? New England I associate with the Red Sox, so I'm pulling for Atlanta. What's that? Deal? Okay, yeah. Hey, y'all can ask Rock a question too here, because I'm getting ready to ask him one.
Sorry. Hey, buddy, what's your name?
Benny,
How old are you?
8.
And what's your question for Buck?
Who do you think is the strongest person on the team, physically or mentally?
Strongest on the team physically and mentally. Well, on the surface, just pure strength is probably Chris Davis, but there's some guys they're going to surprise you how strong they are that you probably wouldn't think as such. I know Joey Rickards, a strong kid. Mark Trumbo. A lot of the guys do a lot of consistent work without trying to do a lot of heavy lifting like Rock does to look like that. Obviously, I don't do a whole lot of heavy lifting. Let's see, mentally tough. I tell you, Darren O'Day's a mentally tough guy. Zach Britton's a mentally tough guy. Brad Brock.
Probably any reliever has to be.
And the relievers have to be. And because they got to be able to put yesterday's failures and strengths behind them. And it's kind of tough. You come into a game and the team's worked like heck for 7 or 8 innings, 6, and now you're supposed to come in and throw 10 pitches and keep everything. I mean, it's a tough job, but that's one of the strengths of our teams. People would die to have the bullpen people we do. Thank you.
What's your name?
Jack,
Hi, Jack.
How old are you?
10.
What's your question for Buck?
Have you ever been late to a game?
Have you ever been late to a game? I know that's like a nightmare you have, right?
I'm gonna tell you, it's no kidding. Y'all ever have this dream? I have it once that I can see the light. Rock knows about it. I've told you. I can see the lights of the stadium, and I can't get there. Somebody here's had that dream. I guarantee you. High school football, you see the lights of the stadium. I played high school football, and I couldn't get there. You wake up, and it's a nightmare. I haven't. But now that you've jinxed me, I'll probably miss a game this year. There's a few places I've gotten lost, I can tell you that. The GPS and that new application they call it, Waze, special. Okay?
Thank you.
Good deal. Have you ever gotten lost going to a game? Did you ever get lost going to a game? Mom did, right?
Hey, pal, what's your name?
Jack.
Jack. You stole that from him. How old are you?
10.
10, of course.
Yeah.
What's your question?
What's the biggest argument you've gotten into against an umpire?
Thought you were going to say it with my wife. She's right
Who's
back
here, by the way?
right around the corner. With instant replay, it's hard to get into much of an argument anymore. And somebody that's come out to see them, you feel sometimes like you're not delivering, but replay is hard to get in. The ones that still get me is when someone's vindictive or smart aleck or puts one of our guys in harm's way or is being disrespectful to, I ask our guys to be respectful to umpires, and when the guys don't give it back, if there's a certain vindictiveness, or if I don't think we're getting a fair shake, if we're on the road, and sometimes I think some of these young umpires just want to hear the hometown roar, and he's sticking it to our guys, and then we got a problem. We got a problem. But I don't know. I seem to argue with my wife more at home now. I used to get it out of my system, but I don't know. As I've gotten older, I found out my mother could read lips, so I had to be careful for a long time. So she reminded me a lot of people are watching that, and you need to control your emotions. But don't hold me to it.
Thank you.
Good, Jack.
Your name's not Jack, is it? What's your name?
Quinn.
Quinn. How old are you?
I am 12.
What's your question?
My question is, what player on the Orioles have you had to yell at the most?
Oh, gee. What do you think?
Probably Manny.
We all give and take. I tell them all the time, we're having a meeting at 8 o'clock tomorrow in spring training. Come on in, because we're not going to say anything about you that we wouldn't say to your face. And the thing I constantly stress to our coaches is I want coaches that aren't afraid to like players. We all have strengths and weaknesses. You got them, I got them, we all do. I said, but, these are some of the best players the world has to offer, and there's a lot of people, trying to do what they're doing. So let's find something to like about them. So it's not very productive to yell at guys, and the times that I have, I've regretted it because we really didn't get to the end game. Now, trust me, if somebody deserves, if you try every avenue you possibly can to get to that. And I tell the coaches, I say, once it gets to my plate where you can't handle your area, then I'm going to have to act, and it may not be real pleasant. And nobody wants to be a jerk, but I can be one when I need to be, but I try not to be. And you don't either. So there's diplomatic ways of handling it, and yelling at people usually doesn't get it done, but sometimes to get someone's attention, you have to do that. I'm going to try not to. Don't hold me to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, boy.
Thought you were bringing props. What's your name?
Oliver.
Oliver, how old are you?
I'm 12.
Question for Buck?
What you got, Ollie?
Why did you choose Baltimore?
Why did I choose Baltimore? Like I had a choice? No, I when I came here, I was working at ESPN, and happy in my life. I was had some guilt-free off season. Everything was pretty good, and then I've always liked the city. And I'm not saying because we're here in front of a bunch of fans, I've always liked the sincerity, they talk about St. Louis, a place where everybody likes to play. I think like Baltimore is the St. Louis of the East in that, there's a purity to the people that come to the ballpark. They come to see the Orioles win, and they're very proud of it. And it was a small town. I told the players, I said, if you want me to find out, there's no such thing as a secret here. It's Baltimore. I'm going to know if you're messing around out there, we're going to have a problem. So I don't know. It really fit. I know my wife and I plan on living here, and we do live here about 10 months out of the year. I'd stay here full time if I could get her to do it. I got more. I liked it.
Hold up.
It's going to be a good one here.
What's your name?
Owen,
Owen, how old are you?
9.
What's your
Hi,
question
Owen.
for Buck?
How you doing today, Owen?
Good. Did you play Little Leagues? And if so, what team did you play for?
I played, when I was 6 and 7, we had a league called the Dungaree League. Dungaree is what we used to call blue jeans back in my day. And if you could get a pair of dungarees and a T-shirt, you were on the team and you write your number on the back with a magic marker. Then you graduated to the minor leagues. I played for the Century Civitans. It was an all-red uniform. Horrible. And then we went to what we call the real Major League Little League team, and that was for the Century team. But we played an all-star team, and we're one game from getting to the Little League World Series in the Tri-County All-Stars. So do I remember it? Yeah, I remember Ronnie Wedgeworth was the first guy that struck me out. Not that I remember it. I didn't strike out the whole year, and Ronnie Wedgeworth struck me out in the last game. He had almost a full beard. 12 years old. Years later, I got him to help roof my mom's house. He's up there roofing the house, and he yells down, he goes, "Remember when I struck you out?" I said, so yeah, I played Little League. How about you? You? Where at?
I didn't hear you.
Where?
Wait, do you play Little League?
Yes.
Who do you play for?
I've played for the Dodgers, the Athletics, and the Pirates.
We got to get you with the Orioles. Good deal. Thank you. Bye, mate. See ya.
What's your name?
Anthony,
Anthony, how old are you?
11.
What's your question?
What's up?
Why didn't Zach Britton play in a wild card game?
Pardon?
Good night, everybody.
What? His dad put him up to that. Why do you think?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, I don't either. So there. Next question. No, there's a lot of decisions that go into games. You have 162. That was what, 163? I was looking the other day. It was actually 207 counting spring training. But there's a decision to be made in the 5th inning about taking Tillman out, the 6th inning about Brock, 7th inning about Gibbons, 8th inning about O'Day, 9th inning about this guy, 10th inning about that guy. And we were trying to save him to close the game out because that'd been the same questions people would have asked. Why didn't you have Britton ready to close the game out? And our biggest problem that game, quite frankly, was we only had 4 hits for 12 or 13 innings. You don't win many games with 4 hits. But I appreciate the question. I'm curious, too. If I'd known how it was going to turn out, I'd have done a lot different. Hey, what do y'all think about this kid's hat? I've been trying to get our guys to go to B hat on the road. What do you think? I don't know. It's a little bit of a Boston bee, though, isn't it? I don't know about
What's
the
your name?
Boston bee.
Griffin. Griffin,
Griffin, how old are you?
12.
Where'd you get the hat?
Cooperstown.
What's your question?
How are you preparing your team for the 2017 season?
Well, every year is different. This year the World Baseball Classic's being played, so we're going down there early. We're going to be there for 2 months, and then we fly to Norfolk and play an exhibition game and hope it's not snowing. You're in charge of not it's snowing when we get back, all right? You got the weather, so you got it. But, there's different timing this year. You can't go too fast. because your finish line is in April. And a lot of times guys will peak too early. I remember last year when everybody was panicking because we lost like 8 or 9 games in a row early in the spring. And I don't know if anybody even remembers that we did last spring. So it's all about peaking. The perfect spring is you start out pretty good, you hit a lull, and then at the end of spring you start picking up your crispness of play. That's the perfect spring, and you're about 1 game over 500. Because if you're playing all the people you should be playing to get a good look at them, you're not going to win all your games down there, especially on the road. So it just doesn't behoove us. When our fans come down to Sarasota to watch us play, I want them to be able to see our guys play in Sarasota. And I could really care less if the people in Fort Myers with the Red Sox are mad about us not bringing our guys over there. Because our fans deserve to see our players play in Sarasota. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Bring it on, young man.
What's your name?
About Britain again?
Jackson,
How old are you?
6.
You have a question for Buck?
What's your favorite thing about Baltimore?
Your favorite thing about Baltimore?
What's your favorite thing about Baltimore?
Watching the game.
Watching the games? Yeah, that's about all you and I do, right? Is watch games. I've been to a Ravens game. Baltimore Bullets don't play here anymore. I'm not going to Washington for anything. Sorry. My favorite, see, what do we do? You know, I have a day that we're not at the ballpark. We have like a 10-acre pasture, and I just kind of sit out there in a rocking chair like an old man. We don't eat out. My wife cooks. I'm pretty boring. I like those shaved ice things. What do you call those? Snowball. I like those. What's your favorite flavor of that? You've had a few.
What?
What's your favorite snowball flavor? Mine's wild cherry. What's your ice cream flavor? Why don't you just get ice cream? Okay. You just made me understand. I'm pretty boring. I got to come up with something to do. I want to go to the Baltimore Zoo here. I haven't been yet. Have you been there? To the zoo?
What?
Have you been to the Baltimore Zoo yet?
No.
Yeah. We got to go together, you and me. All right? I'm dying. I love the Panthers. All right. See you later. You and me, the zoo. Okay? All-star break.
What's your name?
Caroline Maingate,
How old are you?
8.
What's your question for Buck?
What food do you like to eat?
Food. What's your favorite? So I can go off that.
Spaghetti and meatballs.
You can't mess up spaghetti and meatballs. A little tomato paste, some noodles. My wife's a really good cook. A lot of vegetables, collard greens. She makes cornbread. I'm a big sandwich guy, okay? That's pretty boring, but you can't mess up a sandwich either. Like tomatoes. I've been told I like ketchup a lot. If you eat enough Clubhouses, you got to put the ketchup on it. That's about it. I'm trying to think anything.
Your guys eat really well in Sarasota, don't they?
Yeah, they serve food. They have prepared food for the players, really good food in the clubhouse. So most of the time we eat in the clubhouse because you're there for really 2 or 3 meals. So they do a good job with that. Pretty boring, huh? What's your favorite drive-through? When you got to drive through and get something, what
Favorite like fast food?
Fast food. And you drive through. Which one you tell your mom to go through?
McDonald's.
Yeah? I'm a Chick-fil-A guy. All right, thank you.
Thank you. And what's your name?
Ryan,
Ryan, how old are you?
13.
What's your question for
Hey,
Buck?
Ryan.
Hello. I was wondering, what does it take to get you to smile?
Well, there's an answer I could give, but I won't. I I tell you what will make me smile is winning a world championship. You're just not looking hard enough. We smile a lot. We laugh a lot behind the scenes. But, those 3 hours, we take it pretty serious. And I don't apologize for that. But what I consider a smile, we're taking the team photograph. They go, all right, smile. I go, that's it. That's as good as it gets. So, I like watching the players smile and trying to stay out of the way. Sorry. I'll smile more this year. If we're playing well. See ya.
And what's your name?
Lucan,
And how old are you?
9.
What's your question for Buck?
Hi, Lucan.
I play second base and shortstop. What's the best way to improve as a player?
Well, first of all, I tell you, don't play baseball year-round. Play other sports, too. These travel teams and all this stuff, the shoulders, the elbows, the knees, they're not fully developed. You shouldn't be playing baseball year-round. Our guys don't. First thing we tell them when the season's over is don't play. Don't pick up a ball. Don't do anything. Second of all, make sure it's something that you want to do and it's fun. Childhood, life's too short to be. A lot of guys get burnt out on it because they make them play this travel ball 9, 10, 11, 12 months a year. Baseball's not intended to do that. And hopefully parents will go, no, that's enough. Most of the kids that we have that do well at our level were very underused as a youth. Okay, I'm through preaching. Just work at it. Make sure it's something you want to do. If it becomes not fun, then don't do it, So make sure that you're well-rounded, you're doing other things with your life. If you want to play other sports, if you want to spend your time in the library, whatever. It's all relevant, But it kept me out of trouble because I went from football to baseball to basketball to football to baseball to basketball. And you learn how to fall only in football and basketball because a slide is a controlled fall. You can't believe how many guys we get that can't slide that didn't play another sport. So a lot of them learn how to fall, which is important for a young kid, is to learn how to fall without hurting themselves. But just be consistent, work at it, and be well-rounded. Don't get caught in just doing one thing your whole time. Life's too short. I'm done. Sorry. Thank you. Sorry, buddy.
I almost wore the same hat. That would have been awkward. What's your name?
Noah,
No, how old are you?
12.
Where'd you get that?
From like a booth over there somewhere.
Rock, you want to know where it is? You want to get one?
Somewhere. What's your question for Buck?
What's the funniest interaction that you've had with a fan of the Orioles or another team?
Funniest what?
Funniest interaction.
Funniest interaction.
Interaction. I don't know. Funniest interaction. I don't have many funny ones on the road, I can tell you that. I've only had twice last year. I said, that guy, he's gone, take him out. Mostly because of something he's saying to one of our players. And I know they're getting ready to react to it. Funniest thing at home, I went out to take a player out of the game, a pitcher, and there was a fan over the dugout that was just hammering me. It was actually on the road. It was in New York. Said, you waited too late to take him out, Showalter. And so I bring in somebody. First pitch, he hits a home run. I had to go take him out. And he goes, you left him in too long. So I can't win. So the third time I went out, I took 2 steps out of the dugout and turned around and said, leave him in or take him out. He wouldn't answer me. I enjoyed doing that in New York. Nice head.
Hey, what's your name?
Jack,
And how old are you?
13.
Jack?
What's your question for Buck?
Do you ever hang out with Orioles players outside the clubhouse?
I'd love to, but I try to leave them alone. I love the guys. I miss them. I tell them first thing in spring training, I've missed you. They have to listen to my stuff too long. I mean, I tell them all the time, I pick their friends for them, or we pick their friends for them for 7 or 8 months. They get, like, J.J. Hardy goes to Montana, Arizona, and we don't see him or hear from him. That's great for him. He wants to do, some guys want to check out. I'll play golf a little bit with Chris or Scott Coolbaugh, the coaches. It's like the coaches. I really think some of the best development of players is the time away where they step back and think about the season and what went right and what went wrong. And I think if you're constantly on them, on top of them, it's not good. I think you got to give them some space. And I like them. It's tough, though, when you got to make a tough decision on them and you know them real well, you know their families, and it's tough. But I don't mind getting close to them, but I do try to give them their space. I really do. Thank you. There we go.
And what's your name?
Grace.
Grace. And how old are you?
8.
And what is your question for Buck?
Do you like coaching for the Yankees or the Orioles better?
The Orioles. A lot better. Where'd you get the University of Maine sweatshirt, huh?
I was born in Maine.
Maine. Well, you know, Ryan Flaherty's from Maine. You know that Ryan Flaherty in the offseason married Nick Markakis' wife's sister. And now they live in Maine. She used to live in Fort Lauderdale. Can you believe that? She left Fort Lauderdale for Maine. Okay, that was an easy question. Really easy.
And what's your name?
Dylan,
Dylan, how old are you?
13.
And what's your question for Buck?
What was your favorite thing that happened to you while you were on the set of Seinfeld?
Doing it in one take. Doing it in one take. That was fun. I didn't realize I was going to get paid, but by the time, I've told this story before, by the time I still got income tax papers I have to file every year if they show that episode. And every year they show it 3 or 4 times. So when someone comes up and said, I saw the episode, that's another income tax I got to pay. And I get like $8 every time they show it, and I have to pay like $12 in taxes. Because you have to stay signed up in the Actors Guild and all this stuff. You know, I came home and I told the kids and my wife, I said, hey, you know this show Seinfeld or something like that? And I said, oh, Dad, you got to do that. You got to do that. So I did it. Early in the morning, like 8 o'clock in the morning in Anaheim, we were playing the Angels. And they all came in, and what's the guy that runs into the room all the time? Kramer. He kept cracking everybody up. And who's the little short guy? Squatty? Who? George. George cracked everybody up. You could tell they really liked each other, and they worked well together, and something about cotton uniforms, right? I still think we should be wearing cotton uniforms. Try working in double knit your whole life.
Hey, what's your name?
Jordan.
Cameron,
And how old are you?
7.
11.
And who's asking the question? Do you both have one? Okay.
What's your favorite team to go against?
Favorite team to play against? Well, they're all tough. I don't want to say, boy, we want to play that team because we have the best chance of winning. Probably our favorite park that we go to, believe it or not, is probably Minnesota, Target Field. They did a great job with the clubhouse, the locker room, the dugout, the fans, the way they are situated. Boston's a bad place to go to, very uncomfortable, bad locker room, bad dugout, bad field. Yankee Stadium's real, you know, doesn't have a whole lot of character to it. Tampa I don't mind. You know, it's not bad. Toronto, AstroTurf. So our favorite place to play? Mine personally is probably Minnesota. Minnesota's a great place to play. Tampa's got us good things. We know we're not going to get rained out, right? They got a roof on it. Okay? Thank you.
Come on up.
Bye-bye. See ya.
And what's your name?
Catherine.
Catherine, how old are you?
9.
And what's your question?
Can you give me one of your donkeys?
Yeah? I tell you, there's certain times during the day when I'm cleaning up certain things, you can have them. My wife says she now has 3 jackasses living at the house. You need to come see them. we're thinking about having a live nativity scene this Christmas. If I can get Adam Jones to like be the wise man and get 3 or 4 of the players, that's what we were thinking, and let people come up and give it to a charity and the donkeys. Thinking about it. See how the year goes. If I had hair that pretty, I wouldn't cover it up with that balloon. See how pretty her hair is?
And that was a walk-off. We're done. Buck, thank you very much.
We done? Nobody? I should ask Angela some questions. Thank y'all. Bye-bye. Y'all have a good time. Thanks for coming out.